Today we are going to make a still life from our paper bits, our scraps from around the studio, and then we're going to attempt to draw it or paint it. Something you can do is you can get really abstract with this. You can interpret it however you want to. But if you're feeling kind of overwhelmed by this challenge, just go abstract with it. I created the still life with these like rolled up pieces of paper and stuff. And I also put like you can see here, like some cut paper, put it on a piece of paper. I mean, this is a pretty elaborate setup. I did put some like identifiable things in it also, like tapes and art supplies, but then also just left some parts up for interpretation. Like all this is kind of made up, this as well. So that's something you can do today when you're working. You can think of this as vacillating between representation and abstract. So go ahead, take a little time to just put something together for yourself. So I am starting this landscape here. I'm calling it a landscape. It feels like a landscape to me, just as much as a still life. So you might hear me use those words interchangeably, but yeah, so create some kind of a setup for yourself using just some scraps of paper or things around the studio. Let's see, I like using the washi tape, and I am going to actually put in a few objects as well into my still life. And you can really just take some time and enjoy like this 3D kind of sculptural quality of building a still life for yourself. Let's see. Yeah, get weird with it. You know, what do you got to lose? But you don't have to get too complex. We could just think about doing like a study today of this. It doesn't have to be like a major thing. Not sure if I like that in there. So another thing you can do is, you know, maybe take an X-Acto knife and cut some kind of a pattern into, like if you have any kind of scrap paper like this that has paint on it, I think I would like to cut a design into this. And of course you can just crumple up a piece of paper and have that be your still life too. I mean, for some of you, this might just be a jumping off point for an abstract painting. Let's see, can I get this on there? Okay. All right. I hope you all have created some kind of still life for yourself. I know it's kind of hard to see this, but this is what I'm going to be working from. And like I said, I'm going to edit this. Um, I might not include everything in it. So you could start with a drawing. This is a good mixed media opportunity. Whatever tools you like. I found these jelly pens. I actually did a deep dive cleaning of 2 junk drawers in my kitchen. And I swear I unearthed about 100 different pens and pencils and all kinds of stuff. It was pretty fun, but the jelly pens were exciting. An exciting discovery. These are just really fun. You can work with these with acrylic paints, and they're sparkly, and it's just like a regular old pen. Um, but they're just, I think they are acrylic based, so you can draw on top of acrylic paint with them. So these are fun. I mean, this is like a fun pen I found that's water soluble. So, and it's very well water soluble. So as soon as you start painting, like you draw, and then as soon as you start painting anything, it just bleeds. But it makes a really cool effect. Hey, Connie. Hey, Jamie. So you could use this opportunity to play with some tools like this and drawing tools that maybe you haven't had a chance to work with. So I am going to go ahead and start, and I might switch my pen throughout the drawing process here before I actually get into using any paint. But yeah, keep an open mind. Let this just be a jumping off point for like some kind of wild abstract piece if you need it to be. So if you do a Google search for paintings of crumbled paper, there is a lot out there to look at. Mostly realistic renditions of it, but I like using it as a opportunity to go a little abstract with it. So what I do first, if there's a design on the paper, I'm going to just ignore that. And I'm just going to try to get the contours of the actual paper first. And you can go like completely weird paper scraps, or I like to put some identifiable objects in there. That's just a personal decision. It's really up to you how far you want to take this. So I'm going to start off by just blocking in the different colors. I just want to show how this marker bleeds a lot, and it's really fun. I don't know if you can see that. I love that. Okay. Oops. Something I do a lot of is wipe my brush off because I'm too lazy to grab another brush or too impatient. So I always have a paper towel going on over here. All right, so with this, since the light is coming from above, the tops of these things are lighter, so I'm going to try to convey that. And I am just like super duper simplifying things here. I really want to like get into the mixed media aspect of this today. So I'm just going to be going back and forth between paint and drawing tools. I think something like this, doing something like this is a good opportunity to just assess your personal aesthetic choices. Like, what are, like, just becoming more aware of things you like colors you like seeing together, marks you like seeing, materials you like seeing together, things like that. I think as you grow as an artist, it's really important to be a little more aware of your personal aesthetic and what you like. Because it's, that's something I have a hard time teaching, what you should like, and I think that's up to you. So something that's a little more open-ended, like an assignment like this, those are things you might think about as you're working today. For example, like I really like this moment here when the marker bleeds and it just sort of like, there's that moment of looseness. I really like that. So I'm not going to try to correct that or anything for now. Or I also really like seeing like the pen, the lines of the pen or pencil next to the paint, with the paint. I really like that look. So I can tell when I look in the camera that this little crumpled up paper is just like hard to see. There's no form really to it. So I'm going to go back into it with a darker color and maybe outline some of those edges. But yeah, I did not take time to really get that pattern the way it should be. But I'm just going to impose this form over it. Okay, so I have decided I'm going to take some of that paper and put it in here. So I'm going to kind of ruin my still life here. Also because I know this is going to be really fun to do. So I'm going to take my, I'll use my glazing liquid. I think that's going to be enough. And I'll just put some on here. I'm going to get messy. And stick this in there. Actually. See what that looks like. It's kind of cool. I'm going to try it some more. I'm going to do it around the whole piece. Since I love the look of this when it bleeds, I'm going to do a little of that. All right. I'm going to work flat because that's going to bleed. I'm feeling almost finished with just this. It's just a loose study, just a loose, non-committed thing to play around with. Using different mixed media techniques. Still trying. I think I might go in with one of these jelly pens. These are pretty fun. They're very subtle, but let's see. Gotta wait for the paint to dry. So this is what I've got today. This was really fun for me. I hope you had fun too. Thanks everyone. Have a really good day.